Merry meet guys, welcome back to my channel. I just recorded another episode of the Book Witch, so be on the lookout for that. Tonight is Monday night, and I won't have these videos up until Wednesday, so um, you'll see them Wednesday morning. But tonight, excuse me, tonight I wanted to talk about, and I know this has been a topic that's been on YouTube for years, but and it's been hashed out a lot. Um, excuse me. But sorry, all of a sudden got dry throat, cotton mouth. Um, but I want to talk about psychic attack or magical attack, and I don't mean. Well, actually, I do. So in episode 5 of Book Witch, I I went over the book. Um, uh, I went over the book Protection and Universal Magic by Jason Miller, which is a fantastic book on the subject of psychic attack. There are tons of amazing books on the subject um, for psychic protection, for protection magic, for reversal magic, and counter hexes and curses. If you are a big fan of Dorothy Morrison, she has a book that I love, and I use it when I need it as Utterly Wicked, but it's totally against what I'm talking about. That's a book of curses and counter curses. So, psychic attack. How do you know? And I know this has been out, but I want to give my perspective. How do you know when you're under said psychic attack um, or under a spiritual attack? Um, for me, um, and I'm speaking from personal experience. I mean, there are websites and books that talk about the common symptoms are, major depression out of nowhere, sudden headaches, night terrors, feeling not of yourself, feeling dizzy, anxious, nauseated, forgetful, um, mood swings, things like that. But I'm not really talking about that. I want to talk about what how it feels to me when I feel like I am under um, a spiritual or psychic attack. So what happens is, for me, I do feel out of sorts. I feel that my not really tired to some extent, but I feel like my body is rebelling against me, which it usually does on a normal basis. So I have to be careful, not to jump to conclusions all the time. Um, but when it happens, um, it happens on my back, where I'll start to feel like I'm getting hives, and I've had them a lot throughout my life, breakout and rashes and stuff, from making contact. Usually, allergic reactions to bleach, or when I had hay fever really bad, I would get it. But so I know the feeling. I know the feeling when you're starting to break out in the hives. You know that painful sensation where you want to scratch really bad, but you know if you do, you make it worse. Um, I usually get that sensation on my back, and then up into my neck and in my shoulder blades. Um, and I don't get that all the time. And I just, uh, so that's how I know that kind of like something's up, something's, aimed at me or the household or my household or my partner or whatever. Um, it's kind of how I know that something is gone, aloof, and I need to amp up everything. Um, So what I usually do from there, once first and foremost, I kind of go like what the book says. I kind of figure out um, where the attack's coming from, or where this energy is coming from. Is it a person? Is it a spirit? Did I step into a wrong place at a wrong time? Or did I do something did I not do something I said I was going to do? Um, I make promise to the deities or my spirit guides, my friends, my spirit family, my friends, my spirit family, and I just didn't do it, and they're sending me negative energy for saying, "Hey, why didn't you do this?" That has happened. That has happened. I make mistakes. I'm human. Um, but first, I figure out where that energy is coming from, and so that would tell me my next plan of action. So we'll start off with the simplest. If it is um, a deity or a spirit that you work with, that you might have broken an oath or a promise. Um, Getting their trust back is really hard after that. I'm speaking from personal experience. Um, when you promise a deity or a spirit something and you don't do it, either because you're a procrastinator or um, you forget, you don't write things down like you should, um, or just plain lazy. You just don't do it. They do get their feelings hurt to an extent. They're not above everything. They do have They do have emotions. Um, they aren't. I mean, I want to say they're not like angels, but angels do have emotions too, to an extent. It's a whole different thing. But what you can do, what I have done to help appease them or help make the wrong right, the wrong of what I've done, is I apologize. I get down to the altar and I call in who I made the promise to, or the group of spirits who I made the promise to, and I apologize. And I do what I said I was going to do. Um, and then I add something extra, like an extra offering, or work with, or it's usually an extra offering. Like I'll offer them, I'll make freshly made incense instead of using the stick incense. I'll make up powdered incense and I'll burn it on a charcoal disc or have it on in my bowl of sand and light it on fire and have that going for them, and have food and wine or liquor or soda or coffee, depending on what they want and depending on who it is, or tea. And I'll just talk to them and explain, you know, why I didn't do it and I'm really sorry. And usually that's all you need for that type of energy, especially if you want to work with the entity. Again, I don't recommend um, banishing. I mean, you can banish their energy, of course, but I don't recommend banishing the entity or the spirit if you work with them constantly. Um, the next type of attack, or next type of psychic attack, would be walking into a wrong place. So walking into a cross quarters or a cross ley lines or face circles or sometimes old historic monuments um, have this energy to them where when you walk through them or to them, you feel nauseous or lightheaded or um, you just feel out of sorts, and that kind of follows you home. You kind of the energy lingers onto you, and you take it home with you, either knowingly or unknowingly, and it kind of stays with you for days. That is not really a form of psychic attack. It's kind of like a form of leeching, the energy leaching onto you. And what I recommend and what I do for that is I cleanse myself first. I cleanse myself either with Florida water, taking a cleansing shower, sage, tobacco, depending on what it is and how strong of a cleansing I need, depends on what I use. I cleanse myself, I cleanse the house, um, cleanse my car if we went in the car, um, and then I set up protection, and that usually gets rid of any energy leaching. I cut the cords if need be, if it's attached to me, corded or whatever. So the next one, I did spirits. I did the walking into places. Um, so the next one I'm going to talk about is spiritual practitioners or witches or magicians or regular people sending you negative energy, or actually sending maledictions and curses and hexes and things at you like that. Um, if that is the case, there are tons of ways you can go about and undoing their workings, or cleansing yourself and getting rid of their energy. Um, Sometimes a simple return to sender spell with a candle on a mirror. If you know who the person is, if you don't, you can put whoever, write down like whoever is sending me negative energy, put that under the candle with the mirror, um, and it reflects back, reflects back to them. I would turn the paper upside down so it's like the words are on the mirror and the candle on top of that, so it's like they get what they are sending out. Um, Sympathetic magic, that's one way, and a very simple way to do it. But sometimes these things aren't so simple. And when it comes to that, you want to first do a full cleansing. Um, and I recommend pulling in a little bit more energy than you would a regular sage stick. Maybe um, trying to think. I mean, sage does work. It works perfect. I mean, it works for all types of things, but for certain things, for certain situations, you want something a little bit more powerful. Um, so what I do is, if it's just me that's being targeted, or if it's just a person being targeted, you can add Florida water to your bath. Um, Florida water, rose water, to kind of cleanse you of all the negative energies, and then you can bring in energetically positive energies to replace what you cleansed. And then you want to cleanse your household and your property, of course, to get rid of any lingering effects, and then set up boundaries or barriers. And you can do that multiple ways. You can do that by gridding your property with crystals, or specific powders. Um, what I usually do is I make black salt, which I'll be doing on Tuesday. Um, I'm making a new batch of black salt to go around the property, um, to help keep all the protection going. And but that's after I cleanse the house. So I have work to do. I'm not saying that I'm under spiritual attack at the moment. I'm not. It's just um, I haven't cleansed and set up my barriers in a while, and some things have gotten in, and I just need to get rid of them. So, I mean, there's tons of ways, and I could outline different rituals and different things, but I suggest that you guys do your own research in that. If there is a particular type of ritual, or you want more information on how I do things, or anything of the matter of psychic attack, how to prevent it, um, well, let's go into how to prevent it. How to prevent psychic attack, and from you, getting it, um, getting hit by it, I guess I should say, as there's many different things you can do. You can wear protective talismans. You can wear, I usually have necklaces on um, all the time. I usually wear a different style of necklace almost every day, and those are imbued with some sort of energy. Um, you can, if you wanted to get creative, you can draw protection sigils like on your arm, or on your stomach, or on your heart, to keep yourself. If you wanted to do that, you don't. I'm not saying you could. That's something you can do. You can. Um, I'm going to go back to what Jason Miller said in his book is the best way to prevent psychic attack is to do 3 things daily or weekly: meditation, banishing, and offerings. Um, Meditation, it builds the spirit up. It helps keep your mind calm and your energy centered, powerful, and protected. Banishings, banish any unwanted energies from yourself, your space that you're in, your home, and then offerings to the spirits the land, the spirits you work with, the deities, and the spirits that probably were sent to, that could have been sent to you. You're offering them an offering in goodwill, and they're less likely to continue the attack if they are attacking you. So those are my things, my takes on psychic attack and how you can deal with it and how you can prevent it. Um, there's a lot of other videos out there, and I do recommend you guys go check them out. Um, I think some of my favorite YouTubers have um, talked about it. I know the Ashira Star Goddess has, Lady Gravedancer has, um, I think Pixie Flora Sage, or Charming Pixie Flora, or Flora Sage, or I don't remember what the name she's going under. I know she has. At least I think she has. Um, Trying to think of other people that have done it. But yeah, so I'm not going to have links to their videos below, but when you type it in, you should be able to find a ton of videos on YouTube. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or anything, please put them down below in the description or in the comment section. I'm more than happy to answer them, and we'll have a discussion. And if you want to see another video on how I do things, or a more in-depth process of how I deal with it, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to make a video on that. But as for right now, it's getting late, and I think I'm going to head to bed. So until next time, many blessings, guys.